Well, welcome, Trisha. How do you like this rainy weather?
I'm enjoying it so deeply. It's wonderful.
I'm ecstatic.
Right? It is, it just feels so grounding to me right now. It's a
It-
good time.
Mhm. And especially found out this morning from my brother that it's, what is it, 108 degrees or 105 in Munich. And did you know that they don't have air conditioning in the hospitals?
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
let alone that people in the houses do not have air conditioning. It's just in
Wow.
the hospitals. And my aunt just went into emergency again with her kidneys. There is in what is
Oh.
it called? ICU, intensive care.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she is in there in 105 degrees or 108 degrees. How do people even handle that? There were some doctors on TV saying the patients are dying because of the heat, and
Yes.
particularly bad. So
Yes. Wow. Is this a new trend for for the heat in that area?
I think so. It's never really been quite this hot. I mean, it's really exceedingly difficult. For me, it's humid in Munich, and because of the mountain, the Alps all around it, and going to Munich is a challenge.
I hear it's gorgeous though.
Beautiful spring and autumn or late autumn, winter. I love summer, not so much. It's too humid for me. Mm. But anyway, I'm not complaining about the weather in light of the
Me
fact of
neither.
Venezuela and the earthquakes and how many people have died.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know, right?
Mhm.
Deep, deep prayers that going out in that way. Mother Earth is just really, she's shifting big time with all of the energies now that are hitting her surface.
Yes, it's quite intense, which is what leads me into the next conversation. So in 2008, I mean, I have been teaching Reiki and writing books and teaching retreats for years and years since the 90s. But in 2008, I was introduced to biofeedback. And I always loved technology. I always had this, even when I
Mm.
was in business school. My mom stuck me in a private business school in Munich. And I remember sitting on this typewriter thinking, this is the most antiquated, stupid thing I've ever done in my life. My fingers have to go so fast, and I can't coordinate my fingers with my brain. And I had to learn shorthand and I had to do accounting and all of these things because she wanted me to be a businesswoman, you know. And so I went 4 years to this college, to this special private college to learn all these things about business. And I remember sitting there wondering when the aliens are going to beam me up and kick me out of the planet so that I could have technology that I really, really wanted to have. And would from my brain go straight to the paper. I was visualizing that
Mm.
at age 14. Mm. And now
And
we're almost.
yeah, to
Mhm.
seeing it playing out,
Yeah,
isn't that cool?
yeah. So there was a medium who told me I was in Atlantis, and I was one of
Uh,
I got blown up though. I was one of the crystal masters that got blown to smithereens because I had a problem with how they were gene slicing and making humans mixed with animals and stuff like that. So I was very upset about that. And so they kind of blew me up.
well, I'm with you because I had big dreams about being a crystal singer in a
Mm,
past life. And it's like,
yeah.
yeah. And then I got blown up too
How?
through using, so it in that dream of Atlantis, my voice was such a perfect pitch that the vibrations of it started, could move the energy up to really hone the crystalline energies that
Yeah,
they were using.
yeah,
And then so through that, they created a space where they put me in to do, in a way, special work. And it was too tight and it just exploded everything with me too. So I died. That's
oh my God, we probably knew each other.
I know that's why I just like, you know what I mean? And then it's so cool because we're not going to get blown up this lifetime. I mean, that's exciting.
We're not going to get blown up. So I have some questions for Archangel Raphael this time, and it has to do with actually a friend of mine who is a PhD, Dom Perry, Dr. Dom Perry, and he has a device that I am about to purchase. I purchased the Indigo biofeedback device in 2008. His name was Dr. Nelson, and he passed away a few years ago. I think 2 years ago, he passed away. And the device has 600 programs, and I had to go through all the classes and learn the program. And the device was expensive. But I figured if it helped one person, this device, and you hook people up to electrodes on the forehead, the ankles, and wrists, and it has programs on essential oils, it has programs on chiropractic, on blood, on DNA, on anything you can possibly imagine, medical and non-medical. It also has numerology, astrology, and so forth, and aura readings or chakra clearing. And so I love working with that device. And then, right at the onset of COVID, there was another medical doctor in Germany who developed the Healy device, which is a wearable
Oh.
biofeedback device. And it runs frequencies all day long. So you can plug in the frequency of whatever you want to work on. Like today, I'm running eyesight.
Yay!
I, I'm getting,
So cool.
they're a little bit challenged at the moment. So I thought I'll wear this and run the frequency on eyesight. And I think it's 792 hertz on the frequency for that. And I benefit so much from my little Healy device, and I love it. And sometimes, I misplace it because it's so little, but it's not so expensive to get the Healy with the basic programs, so people can actually afford it. And so biofeedback, my device has scalar waves. And Dr. Don Perret talks about scalar. And I don't know how much you know about scalar, but we're going to ask Archangel Raphael about scalar because I think he will be able to answer some of the questions. And here are the questions. Does intention affect healing? Can consciousness interact with energy? Is our heart an electromagnetic transmitter? How important are thoughts and emotions in healing? Is meditation itself a form of energetic alignment? And from the spiritual perspective, what scalar waves are, they exist beyond the science. So currently, science doesn't really acknowledge that as a real thing. But scalar waves were really, really talked about with Nikola Tesla. And Dr. Don Perry explained it to me once, but for the life of me, I could not repeat it. I mean, he's got a PhD in all this radionics, etc. And what should we be conscious about? What should we be cautious about? And so I would please, please, please ask Archangel Raphael to speak to us about scalar energy and how it affects the human body.
Dear ones, the scalar energy is part of a potential line of magnitude. As you know, scalar energy, when active, in intention creates a vibration of wholeness wherever it is activated. So the waves are from your intentional leaning in for a specific healing and wholeness from the waves. So in your body, you have all the potential, part of the magnitude of scalar, to heal yourself. And once you move into the intention to invoke this energy, this full potential of being healed, the vibration of that connection vibrates into waves of the right frequency that is needed for you to heal.
So the Yuki is the device that Dr. Don Perry created, and it's only a fraction of the price of my Indigo biofeedback. And what you do is you enter the name of the person, the birth year, or the time of birth and where they're born, and you send a picture.
Mm.
And then you send the intention of what needs to be healed. And they tested this with fields of cabbage to send scalar waves, and two cabbage patches side by side, one without the scalar waves and one with the scalar. And the one with the scalar grew twice as big.
Right, right, because of its space within you or any intention from potential energy to active participation energy with whatever intention you invoke. So it's like the movement of a ball from the highest point, and the awareness and intention creates that movement for the ball then to move in its potential. So this is part of, yes, the core design of human intelligence within their own body, their own cellular representation to heal, to be vibrant.
So intention is everything.
Yes.
If we have negative self-talk throughout the day, which, with 60,000 thoughts in a day on average, right? Uh,
Yes.
you would imagine that many, many people have a lot of negative self-talk. I'm not good enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough, and so forth. So we have to be very careful with where our intentions are.
Right. For the intention writes your story. So if your attention is in the negative, you look through that intention actually brings physical representations of negative environments to you.
So if you're thinking like, do you remember in the movie The Secret, the documentary, where they gave the example of, if you're thinking about an elephant, the elephant's not going to just appear in the room. Good if you're really, really powerful, right? You
Right.
have to project yourself to Africa and suddenly be with an elephant. But let's just take that as an example that if you are constantly thinking about lack of money, I don't have enough, I don't have enough, I don't have enough, then the universe has no choice but to give you, I don't have enough.
Right. And the lessons for you to be so maybe frustrated, that then you change your intention, right? Because the universe knows your soul's journey of truth, and all of you are here to have enough. It is part of the gift of coming into this place. So that when you lack, it also becomes this great potential to start choosing the intention differently.
Mhm.
And that is monitoring your self talk and checking in with that piece.
So if I continuously have the mantra or repeat the mantra about a lack of money, then that then that uh, lack of money eventually becomes this emotional charge around the person. And what then creates that reality of lack of money is really the emotional body, not by what you speak physically.
Exactly. And many times for humans within the healing of any place of doubt and trust and lack, it is the mind writes the story of what you internally tell it. And so then your mind is writing the narrative. And
Mhm.
in that narrative, it plays out in front of you. And that becomes your truth because you see it, you can feel it, right? And once it becomes your truth outside of you, then you take on the emotions that are attached. And when the emotions hit, that's then when you actually self-sabotage to that level of frequency of saying I don't have enough. So many times that's when you dearest souls shout out and say, I want a better way. And within that space, the vibration of a new mantra occurs, a
Mhm.
new mind talk, a new way.
Mhm. So I don't know if we can touch into that conversation, but let's just see where it goes. I just listened to a podcast that was a little bit scary for me. As you know, I studied with a guru for 11 years and spent quite some time in India meditating many, many hours, sometimes 12, 14 hours a day. And one of this was Science of the Soul, Radha path, path of the
Mm,
masters. And one of the things that I learned on this path of the masters was that it is only through a living master that you are coming out of the wheel of karma. And often he would even talk about how when we reach the upper section of the astral realm in our meditation, we we are then even challenged by the angels, gods, and goddesses to get out of that wheel. And I want to ask Archangel Raphael what he has to say about that. And there are some folks that are talking online about the illusion of this astral region and that everything is a simulation and that there are the archons that run the show. And I have a hard time with that. I, I, I have a hard time teaching people to be even afraid of what happens to them when they cross over and to give them this scary information.
the the human mind, as within all the data of all the minds, has the highest source of knowledge, intelligence, the depth of knowing as you go into the astral plane is to remember you're always protected in that depth of you are sacred, right? Your mind is sacred. Your places of movement in any astral plane is sacred. You have sovereignty in those places. So within that sacred truth, you are then at times being tested in the space of ownership of your sacredness to really be able, because when you're born in your sacredness of a divine spirit, all the powers of all knowing, of all presence, of all awareness and love is yours. And the mind that harnesses these places of your sacredness would not dilute into the space of darkness or negativity. The angels were created, the realms of all the angels were created as a communication piece. So if you feel that you are visited by a negative communication piece, it's stating your sovereignty to that place. And once you state your sovereignty of sacredness, that negativity, that negative entity must leave. It is the holy law of sovereignty and sacredness. For you are the true point of that journey within in those spaces. And so, yes, there will be testing to all along the way until you are just one with your truth. Because that sacredness is so pure that it is on a mastery of tests. And so when your soul leaves your body, you are surrounded by the sacredness of your soul and all the soul groups that have been able to reach what we call illumination to help you into the next phase of where you go into it's a womb of healing and reconnection to be fully in that sacredness and love.
So even with technology, implants like such as Elon Musk's invention, we cannot alter the sacredness of the human soul.
And that sacredness will eventually override those implants
Oh, really?
because the implants can't reach the the oneness of sacredness that you are. It's a good simulation, right, of it. But the true sacredness is so much more powerful than any device humanity brings
Or even ETs bring.
or ETs, for
Mm.
they're part again of the separation principle in the accordion of all that has been created and all the different levels of of knowledge and movement with oneness.
So nobody can mess with the human
No, when you call upon your sovereignty
when
and
you
you
call upon your sovereignty.
and so it will nullify what you have created, what the human has created. Calling upon your sovereignty also within different, like if you are not wanting to get vaccinated, but when you call on that sovereignty, that nullifies what that vaccination say will go from that or treatment in your health care at this moment. It changes the frequency. So it doesn't metastasize the way the human energy would have held. It holds the sovereignty of you.
That's good news.
Yes,
That's excellent news.
it's powerful.
Yeah.
And so within the movement as the potential of the scalar field, that field offers another um, commitment in sovereignty. So your intention is always honored in that field.
Mhm. So it
And you,
can't be used for something negative.
if you are any pocket, any wave of potential within the intention, right, can be within humanity, but the sovereignty of you in your sacredness will
Interesting.
take that away. And so if you feel an intention going wonky, it's immediately saying, I call forth my sovereignty of
Okay.
sacredness now, and it will take it away.
Okay. Well, I will let you know when I have the scalar device from Dr. Ray. It's
I'm
gonna,
celebrating. I love that you
I,
do this.
it's gonna be, it's gonna be a real wonderful
Oh,
little toy we can play with, Trisha.
yes, yes,
And
I'm in.
I've never hooked you up to my biofeedback device. We have to try that sometime.
I would love that.
I think you like it. Well, whoo,
Woo!
big
Oh,
conversation today. Oh
I
my
love it. Thank
God.
you. Oh,
We can only do that at 10 o'clock in the morning.
exactly. Right. No, no, no. This was perfect timing.
Thank you. Sorry, I double booked us last time.
It's all perfect. There's never a wrong in my life, right? There's just the flow of another beginning. So
What are you doing for the 4th of July weekend?
I'm going to have a healing group at my house. So
Oh.
we're celebrating all of the texture of, the way all has been created within this country. Because I've been watching the football, so the World Cup stuff, and the beautifulness of oneness with all the fans and they helped me remember the beauty of America, like geek out for us, right? Like it just, oh, now I can go in to July 4th with that true wonderment and gratitude to be living here.
Do you know who Elizabeth April is?
No, who is she?
She's a very prominent remote viewer.
Oh, is she the one you were watching?
Yeah, the blonde girl.
The blonde girl. I like her.
Do you know what she said?
No, no, I'm in. I'm
These
in.
for the last few days, and so did a whole bunch of other mediums are saying it, that they, as in whoever they are, not so sure, are going to stage a possible fake alien invasion during the World Cup.
I I would love to be a witness to something like that, fake or not,
Fake
because
or not exactly.
right, just because of the human creation, right? Like, and or the creation of that would be. Don't you think so? Like, I would take it as like, wow.
Well, I wouldn't mind. I mean,
No,
it looked
no,
like a bunch of projections in the sky of UFOs and aliens flying around. I don't know. We've been told for years and years and years now that when this happens, which it will eventually, because we're
yes.
collectively obviously bringing it in, is to just close the curtains.
Right? Well,
I
what
have no
happened?
curtains on my windows. I have no curtains.
Right? Well, look at you. What happened to me? This is the wildest story. And I'll tell you, I was not woo-woo. I was just graduated with like a 3.9 from college. I met my husband. We landed in Lava Hot Springs, Idaho. And there I met this woman. And her and her husband had like tigers, lions, and something else. So when I was, not yet getting a job, I was just hanging out. So she invited me over. And again, I had no clue what she was telling to me. So she said to me, first thing she said, do you want to feed this lion? And I looked at the lion and I saw in his eyes he was gentle. So I said, yeah, I'll feed the lion. And so I went into this lion cage and he just like purred and took the meat, right? And she's like looking at me. And so then throughout our time together, which probably was 3 months, she said one day, because I was sitting and playing with the tiger cubs in her house, and she looked at me and she said, you know, you're a white witch. And I said, doubt that, but okay, right? And then I, in, in New York, no one knows where Oregon is, right? It's like, I blame Lewis and Clark expedition because all it did was rain. And so, like, New York just. So she says to me, she goes, you're going to be a translator for when the aliens come. And one of the places they're going to come is Astoria, Oregon. She said, you are going to live in Oregon. And I was like, I'm 22. I'm like 22. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I don't even know where that is, right? And she goes to me, no, this is a truth. I see it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like
This wasn't Casey Knight, was it?
I don't know her. I forget her name, but
Thanos Ramsa.
she,
Yeah.
it's I who I and so anyhow, when I first came, I had a client at the bank who had a home in Astoria. And when I was there, I spent the night, and it was the first time I saw a Palladian ship. Isn't that crazy?
That is wild. That
And I like freaked out. And that was before the angel happened. It was before
before,
uh,
when did the angel happen? How old were you?
I was 33.
So this was 10 years before.
Exactly. Isn't
Yeah.
that crazy?
Yeah.
I had no clue because I was so Catholic, so rigorous in, the religion, arts, and science and all. Isn't that crazy?
So
And
nice.
and she said, but you wouldn't be hanging out with me if you weren't a white witch. And I was like, huh. She goes, look at these animals, the people are afraid of them, and you're just like, nope, not.
You walked straight into
I
the
watched it.
lion, feeding the lion meat. No
Right?
problem.
She just shook her head and she came out. I came out and she said, you held no fear. And said, no, his eyes, the lion's eyes were just so gentle. I didn't fear that. It
Yeah.
was Isn't that crazy? And to think back to that time is one of the places my identity got shooken.
I bet. I mean, that has to make you question things. When,
Exactly.
yeah, same. I mean, we go back. I go back into my life, at age 9, being in a coma, and I mean, my whole reality shifted from that moment on.
Exactly.
I was out of my body for the first
Right?
time. I realized that I wasn't the body. When
Exactly.
it's not the
Isn't
body. Oh, you think there's more going on than the body.
right?
I'm not stuck here. And it became exceedingly boring listening to the regular stuff that humans had to tend into, uh,
Exactly.
wealth and education and all of these things that they said are important in your life that you have to take care of. And I didn't want any of it.
I'm with you. It's funny because in high school and college, I was voted most likely to succeed. And what I wanted to succeed in was the simplicity of living.
The simplicity. And it is actually, it's funny that the word is simplicity. And this was my guru's favorite word. Every satsang, every discord he ever gave, he would talk about simplicity. And it is for humans the most difficult thing to do.
Exactly. Exactly. And
I
it's
can't
been
believe how much material stuff sneaks into my house. I think these little things just walk in. It's not me that puts them there. They sneak in at night with some elves.
what do we get? Yeah. It's just like, I'm like, huh. And so, of course, when classmates, DM me or that, yeah, I'm happy, right? Because I know my core is one in being in the simplicity
Mm,
of life,
yeah. And that's the key.
isn't it? It's a big key. And what a journey, though. It's like fully a life for me of random encounters that pushed me, pivoted me into a whole new reality space.
Good for you.
I know I'm blessed.